Hello, this is the trade site Forex market preview and international economic data roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 2nd of December and ending Friday, the 7th, 2018. November's in the books. Statements are printed. One more month left in 2018, unbelievably. The way the calendar lays out, it's actually a fairly good calendar for once. Christmas is going to be on a Tuesday. So we should have 3 full weeks of trading, maybe that last Friday, the 21st, which will be options expiration Friday. People start to head out for the weekend. But other than that, 2.5, 3 full weeks of trading before they really hit the holiday environment. And obviously that last week of the year is usually a bust. The other nice thing about this is that New Year's is also on a Tuesday. So we'll get back to work on that Wednesday and have 3 full days to start the year out instead of just one. I think last year, for some reason, I feel like, no, it wasn't a leap year. So, but when you have New Year's on a Thursday, that's just frustrating because people come back for Friday. A lot of people don't come back. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart, really flat. All the charts look flat. There's no signals. There's nothing to say here about patterns. Here's the euro dollar. We'll just go through them really quick because there's really nothing here. Got an inverse cup on the pound. Aussie dollar, flat. Euro yen, flat. Look how flat this has been for 2 weeks. Pound yen, flat. Pound Swiss, not much there either. New Zealand dollar, up near the highs of the last 5 months, 4 months or so. Let's look at the intra-week action. So here's 30-minute candles on the euro dollar. High to low for the week was about 180 pips. And, no, I'm sorry, 140 pips. Oof, not even that. And you can see the big move on Wednesday, but other than that, Monday was fairly flat, Tuesday was fairly flat, Wednesday got a pop on news, Thursday dead, Friday kind of drifted back. The pound, not much better. This is really bad for this time of year. Usually the Forex markets are more exciting. 160 pips a range here. We did have a couple of winners this week and then stopped out on one on the last day of the week. Nothing else to really say, though, when it comes to these things here. All right, let's take a look at the economic data coming out this week. A lot of it. We got the AIG Manufacturing Index out of Australia Sunday night, Overseas Trade Index out of New Zealand, capital spending out of Japan, MI inflation gauge and building approvals out of Australia with company operating profits, final manufacturing PMI out of Japan and then China, commodity prices out of Australia, retail sales out of Switzerland, Spanish manufacturing PMI out of Switzerland, Italy, Germany, France, the broad European sector, and then the UK, and then Canada, and then here in the US. They time it all the way around the world now. Everybody does theirs the same day, basically. Construction spending here in the US. Total vehicle sales comes out here in the US on Monday, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got the monetary base number out of Japan Monday night, retail sales monitor out of the UK, current account out of Australia, and a rate announcement out of Australia, 10-year bond auction out of Japan, French government budget balance, Spanish unemployment change, CPI out of Switzerland, construction PMI out of the UK, Europe's got its PPI, got labor productivity out of Canada, GDT price index out of New Zealand, AIG services index out of Australia, ANZ commodity prices out of New Zealand, GDP out of Australia, Caxton services PMI out of China. Europe's got Spanish services PMI, Italian services PMI, French, German, the same, the final broad European services PMI, and then the UK one. Retail sales out of Europe, Wednesday at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Spanish 10-year bond auction. ADP non-farm employment change out of the U.S. Revised non-farm productivity and unit labor costs out of the U.S. Final services PMI out of the U.S. Canada's got the Bank of Canada rate announcement. We've got the ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers here in the U.S. Crude oil inventories, beige book out of the U.S. at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Retail sales out of Australia that night. And we're going into Thursday. German factory orders. OPEC meetings start. 30-year bond auction out of the U.K. Challenger job cuts here in the U.S. Trade balance, that's one of our big 3 each month here, both the U.S. and Canada, so we'll be half size ahead of that, the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers. We've got the factory orders out of the U.S. here at 10 a.m. on Thursday. Natty gas at 10:30. AIG construction index out of Australia that night. Household spending and average cash earnings out of Japan, along with their leading indicators going into Friday. German industrial production, French of the same, and the French trade balance number. Foreign currency reserves, Halifax HPI, Italian retail sales, consumer inflation expectations, revised GDP out of Europe at 5 a.m. on Friday. And then here we've got the unemployment rate out of the U.S. and Canada, so that's another one of our big three each month. So we'll be half size Thursday night going into Friday as well. Gets a lot of the big numbers out of the way early this month. Preliminary University of Michigan sentiment, final wholesale inventories, consumer credit out of the U.S., trade balance out of China, and CPI and PPI out of China on Saturday. So that's it. A lot of data. Not much action in the markets, in the Forex markets, so hopefully something improves, but we haven't seen much here. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading week.